What is up, guys? It's me, the ALE Double X Prince, and I'm here with another failed champions video. This time, the Asylum, Mr. Asylum, the Lunatic Fringe, Dean Ambrose. So, when you had the Shield, naturally everybody said that all three of these guys would be at the top one day. But more importantly, people believed that Dean Ambrose was going to be the face of the company, like following John Cena. Like it was going to be John Cena, then Dean Ambrose. Instead, it became John Cena, then Roman Reigns, which was kind of a given, knowing that he has a uh, unique look, different size, and to top it off, he is related to the Samoan family, being cousins with The Rock, the Usos, um, and I forgot his connection with Yokozuna, but pretty much it is a very stacked family in there. Now, Dean Ambrose was going to be a world champion, bar none, but the way he won about it was good. I thought it was a very brilliant move to have Seth Rollins beat Roman Reigns clean. It was like a big shocker after never losing the belt properly. It was awesome to see Seth Rollins win a match clean up to this point. Seth Rollins was like the corporate guy that you wouldn't expect from Triple H. He's his big protege. And then Dean Ambrose ended up cashing in, who won the briefcase earlier that night. And now the one night that all three members of the Shield became WWE champion. And here's a little fun fact that not a lot of people catch. They all pinned each other to become WWE champion. Seth Rollins pinned Roman Reigns pinned Dean Ambrose, and Dean Ambrose pinned Seth Rollins. So that's a little fun fact. And when Dean Ambrose won, I was like so excited because it was like the one that I was waiting for the most to become the WWE champion. And what happened? He was the most lame WWE champion out of the bunch. Seth Rollins was a coward chicken shit heel, but um he was always you know at the top. Like he was great. He had some great matches with Cena and Orton, but yeah, he was just constantly running away, and it was just really lame of his character, and it really dumbed down Seth Rollins. It was pretty disappointing. He had some great matches with Dean, but hell, I just fucking remember them as of right now. That's the catch. That that silly ass move where they both pick up the title, but Seth Rollins falls on the title, so he won. It was a silly, weird way. Roman Reigns, he actually did a good job. He had two great matches with AJ Styles, and then another great match with Seth Rollins. The way he won it against Triple H is like fine. At least he got the belt. But the problem with Roman Reigns is that at the time he was booed all the fucking time. Like there was no reason to cheer for him because they kept treating him like an underdog, and it was just lame, and nobody liked it. Nobody likes this Roman Reigns a lot at all, and that's why he is now the heel that he is now. Like the way he came about it was lame, but the reign itself, like his title run, like with his matches with Styles and Rollins, they were great. So I can't really complain. But let's go on to Dean Ambrose, and here's why I personally believe he failed. And up to this point, Dean Ambrose was already at jobber mode. Like whether or not people like to admit it, Dean Ambrose was a jobber up to this point. He got squashed by Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania in pretty shitty fashion. Like everybody thought that was gonna be the match of the night. I thought it was gonna be the match of the night. It ended up being a big clutter disappointment. Just suplex. Oh, chainsaw, suplex. Uh, F5, 1, 2, 3, and no one can like it was just a lame match, and even Dean Ambrose will admit, like, yeah, that match was fucking lame. I hate that match. And it sucks for Dean, but up to that point, there was really nothing else he could do. And what they tried is to revamp him when he fought Chris Jericho, but up to this point, Chris Jericho just kept losing all the time. So when he beat him, it was like, okay, who cares? And then he started cutting goofy ass promos. He was into it, and it was just like the Ambrose Asylum show with the potted plant. It was funny, but it was kind of goofy, and it just wasn't the Dean Ambrose that we expected. Now, when people think of the person, let me check his real life name. Jonathan David Good. They think of John Moxley. They think of this badass, like insane, like type of extreme ECW type character. Think of Tommy Dreamer meets Brian Pillman or some shit like that. Think of that shit. That's basically who uh, we wanted to see when it came to Dean Ambrose. He was already great at promos. It's just that it just never gave him the shot, and they just scripted him down too much. But why did they script him down way too much? Plain and simple. And that is why he felt as WWE champion. He was never anybody's guy. Roman Reigns was Vince McMahon's guy. Seth Rollins was Triple H's guy. Dean Ambrose was nobody's guy, like not even Shane or Stephanie. Like no one was really onto his side. And what did they do? They gave him a shitty title reign. Let's look at this title reign. We had him cashing in, which was a cool moment. We set up the Shield triple threat match, but oh no, Roman Reigns got suspended. That's no fault of Dean, but then Seth and Dean had to build up the match by themselves, and the whole Shield triple threat match felt like an afterthought. So much so that the victory that Dean Ambrose had against him didn't mean jack shit. I don't know why they let this happen, but this is a fun fact. Remember when Jack Swagger got in trouble with marijuana? Naturally your mind is, oh shit, they're going to suspend him and then they're gonna fuck up the storyline. Instead, they continued with the storyline. They finish off his work with Alberto Del Rio, and then they suspended him. Why didn't they just do that with Roman Reigns? Why didn't they just, if Roman Reigns is sincerely your top guy, wouldn't it make sense to um continue his little feud, finish it off, and then suspend them? Like, come on, like, really? They let that shit slide. Like, I couldn't believe it. Anyways, Seth and Dean had to carry a triple threat match build, and it was just lame, and it was very disappointing. And then it gets worse because Dean Ambrose is already defending the belt against Seth Rollins in a one-on-one match, not once but twice on Raw and SmackDown. And a lot of you guys forgot those matches even happened. But then we get the Shield triple threat. Not a bad match. It's just the build was pretty sloppy, and it was really bad when you don't have one of the key players of that match in it. So that disappoints. And it was all about who's gonna keep the WWE Championship, Raw or SmackDown, and it never became about the Shield, and it was very disappointing. But SummerSlam hits. Dean Ambrose is the top face of SmackDown. And who does he face? Dolph Ziggler. Now, the way they built up Dolph Ziggler having a chance, it was actually pretty great. So much so, I actually believe Dolph Ziggler had a chance of winning. But then I realized this is Dolph Ziggler. And I gotta be honest, this match ruined both of these guys' careers. It told us, yeah, not everybody is meant to be in the WWE Championship picture. This really told us. And Dean Ambrose, or John Moxley, he is a main event caliber star, but they never told us. And he was too goofy. Like, remember when in the match, the only thing I truly remember about this match was uh Dean Ambrose teasing the sweet chin music, but he never does it. And it was just like, yeah, it was just really lame, man. Don't get me wrong. They had a way worse WWE Championship SummerSlam match the following year, that being Jinder Mahal and Shinsuke Nakamura. I can't believe to this day that is a SummerSlam match. Jinder Mahal and Shinsuke Nakamura for the WWE Championship. How fucking embarrassing. Anyways, as things go on, uh, Dean Ambrose now faces AJ Styles, and AJ Styles was the heel, and Dean Ambrose was the babyface. And the crowd switched roles because AJ Styles was already super fucking over. He was one of the top merch sellers. He beat John Cena twice, One, obviously he had help with Gallows and Anderson. The other one, he beat him clean at this exact same SummerSlam. He had great matches with Roman Reigns. He showed us that Roman Reigns could be a top key player if given the right booking. And AJ Styles has just been having a legit, no pun intended, phenomenal year up to this point. Dean Ambrose had a sloppy start, and so much so that people were like, oh shit, just give the belt to AJ Styles. Just give it to him, and we'll go with it. And it was so disappointing because, like, Dean Ambrose never felt like the top guy, and that's the problem with the WWE. If you're gonna make someone the champion, you gotta make him the top player of that division. And Dean Ambrose was never that. John Cena and AJ Styles was a non-title match at SummerSlam, and that should have been for the WWE Championship, not Dean and Ziggler. And yeah, that really killed the careers. But what is the one thing that truly killed Dean Ambrose's career? Well, it got to be the one place that could have helped him, but instead he fucked it up. And I do blame Dean on this one, kind of. Dean Ambrose was on Stone Cold Steve Austin's podcast where Stone Cold was asking him some questions about his background. Dean was kind of like in it, out of it, like, they were all right. I was a shitty kid, and yeah, I'm not a real role model. And that's another thing. If you're going to expose some stuff and everybody could have a redemption story, but Dean never came off like he had a redemption story up to this point. He just kind of like flopped around and didn't really give a shit. Like, this was the ultimate opportunity to say, like, listen, I am the WWE champion. I don't care what anybody says. I'm going to make this the best thing possible. And it just seemed like he didn't give a shit. This is why Austin Aries never became Cruiserweight champion in WWE. This is the same reason why Braun Strowman took forever to get his belt, because you have to know, you got to pick your shots. There's times where you call out Vince on his bullshit, and there's times where you just have to help build yourself up as a character when given the platform. And Dean Ambrose never did that, and that is very freaking upsetting. And it sucks because Dean was the original leader of the Shield. No one knows this because Dean was just such a sloppy champion, and it's just so sad. It was so sad because think about it. 2016, you went from fighting Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 32, WrestleMania 33. Dean Ambrose is on the pre-show against Baron freaking Corbin for the IC belt. That is not a good turn. And when you think about it, SmackDown 2016 was great. Great television, great writing, all around fun show. Who was the top face of SmackDown at the time? Now, AJ Styles was a heel, The Miz was a heel, Bray Wyatt, Orton, and Luke Harper, those were heels. Who was truly the babyface, the top babyface of SmackDown? Dean Ambrose, you could say, but it was like, is he really the real legit babyface that we had in 2016? Oddly enough, was Becky Lynch, who ended up becoming the biggest face of the company following this. And yeah, I legit think like Becky Lynch is the only face that people truly liked in the WWE and around this time, and on SmackDown to say the least. Dean Ambrose was just whack. It was just lame as hell. He just was generic, and I'm sorry, but this is a very so I agree. WWE did him wrong, but there's some blame to give to Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose wasn't completely interacting. He wasn't likable. And it's just like there was more other people who gave a shit, gave their best. And it felt like at some points Dean Ambrose was just being lazy, childish. You should watch that promo that The Miz gave on Dean Ambrose. Like, you're not a bad intercontinental champion, not because you're a bad talent, but because you're lazy. And that is what Dean Ambrose was around this time. He was lazy, he was boring, he didn't try to talk to Vince. Like, and it sucked. It was just a very toxic environment for Dean, and thankfully he's now in AEW where he's having the best time of his life. But man, was Dean Ambrose really screwed over, even as WWE champion? Like, poor guy. But yeah, those are my honest opinions on Dean Ambrose on why he failed as WWE champion. Tell me if I'm wrong. It's me, Meaty, the ALE Double X Prince. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And until then, I'm out.